All right, welcome into the Not Moved college football preview this weekend, week 5. So got some good matchups this week, some ranked opponents, some national title hopes maybe dashed here as we get through the schedule this weekend. How you doing, Jimmy? How'd you feel about last week's games?
Last week was great. We had some great games going on. The SEC and the Big Ten starting to unfold. The Big 12 had a big game going on with Arizona State last week. We had a big Friday slate yesterday going on. My UVA Wahoos, baby. We ended up beating Florida State in a crazy double overtime game, as well as the Arizona State game came down to the wire in the fourth quarter with a fourth quarter win, and the Houston game came down to an overtime win. So that was a pretty good, nice little appetizer for this crazy college slate that we got going on today. I'm just excited to talk ball. This is a big week. This is uh, all types of hopes and dreams are on the line. All the standings, like we're in the meat of the season right now. This is all for rankings going on.
Yeah, I mean, and we're not that far away from the national rankings, the college football playoff rankings coming out soon. And to have Florida State lose, I mean, I don't feel one bit bad for them because I'm a Notre Dame fan and I don't like Florida State or Miami. I think this was a great kickoff to the weekend. And it just goes to show you that, college football is unpredictable as the weather.
Never know. Double overtime was crazy, man. I was sweating it out.
Yeah, that was was that a 7:00 kickoff? Didn't get over till almost 11.
Yeah, it was crazy. It rolled straight into the Arizona State game. That didn't even finish up till like midnight, 12:30. I don't know. It was a wild game, wild couple games to. But it was just again, like I said, it's the appetizer because these games that we're about to talk about, this slate is crazy. Normally, there's like 3 games a weekend, like 3 big headliners, maybe 2. But this weekend, there's like 6 big games, and then like alongside them, there's like I don't know, like another 6 or 7 that are like just as good, but they're not as like team wise or name wise, they're not as big, but they're still just like
They're
value wise.
just as important.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah,
So let's get started with some noon kickoffs today. We could chomp our teeth into 2 ranked opponents in the Big Ten. Undefeated USC boasts their explosive offense against Illinois, who is plus 6.5. And I feel like, for Illinois, they're going to have to play well on third down, and their offensive line is really going to have to elevate their game today against that defensive front of USC.
yeah. Coming off last week, Illinois got their teeth kicked in by Indiana, so they're looking to get a bounce back spot at home. This USC offense is humming. Jaden Maiava leads the NCAA and QBR, I believe. It's a typical Lincoln Riley team, all offense. The defense isn't really as good as it could be, but I mean that defensive line is stout, like you said. Um, we'll see how it goes. I want to take Illinois in this spot just as a bounce back, just because I feel like the West Coast guys coming to the Midwest, maybe they ain't feeling it, but I don't know. Illinois scares me after they just got their teeth kicked in by Indiana. I don't know what they have anymore. They were hyped up going into the season, and now you just showed what they got.
I totally agree. I liked Illinois plus the points last week. Didn't work out well for either of us. So hopefully they can turn it around this week. And obviously, as a Notre Dame fan, USC is probably behind Florida State and Boston College. USC is not some team I want to see win. Moving on. Speaking of Notre Dame, the Irish are taking on Arkansas. Arkansas plus 4.5. The over-under around 63.5. This is actually the first ever meeting between these two teams, believe it or not, in their history. Notre Dame lost the first 2 games of the year against Texas A&M and Miami. Who cares about them? Before bouncing back against Purdue last week, as predicted, the Irish held out on the spread, 24.5. They won 56-30. But Arkansas has not played well either, and they are coming off a loss to Memphis.
Yeah, this Arkansas team could very easily be 4-0, but to their last two games they fumbled late in the fourth quarter, giving up the ball to the opponent, and they lost to Memphis, they lost to Ole Miss, both like that. Their defense isn't great either. I see this game as a shootout. I like the over is my favorite play of the week in this game, just because I feel like Taylor Green's a dog, and you're going to see that today. But the defense is a bit lackluster. How I feel like this game comes down to who has the ball last. I'm honestly gonna pick the points, and people are saying notice the ND in Notre Dame this year stands for no defense. So I don't know what happened. Y'all lost Benjamin Morrison, my dog. So maybe y'all can
Well,
y'all can fix
we
the
lost
secondary.
we lost a few guys on the back end with Watts as well. I totally agree with you though. 63 and a half is the number. It's going over that. I'm thinking it's going to be in the 70s.
Yeah.
I really feel like it's going to be a 38-35 game, something like that. I feel like Notre Dame wins this game and they're starting to roll and get momentum back after those two ranked losses at the beginning of the year. And it's going to really play into Arkansas, if they can win this game, getting confidence for the SEC meat of the schedule here.
Oh yeah. Also for Sam Pittman's job, like losing those two games in the fourth quarter like that. If he wants to keep his job in the SEC, man, he's got to get his players to get up and fight for him. And I feel like they're going to try their best to show up and show out, just to see how they play. I don't know. I lean towards the points just because I feel like it's going to be close, and I had it early on where it was 6.5, so I got it early on the hook. So I'm very confident in that spot, but 4.5 kind of scares me. I don't know which way to go. That's why I was just
Yeah.
leaning with the over.
Yeah, I understand that. All right, so moving on to some 3:30 big games. Number one, Ohio State, always going to be a big game. Minus 7.5 at Washington. The over/under 51.5. Julian Sayin obviously leading the number one team in the nation, the Buckeyes, into Husky Stadium. Jeremiah Smith and the receiving corps is going to look to put pressure on that Husky secondary.
Yeah, this is a tale of two teams, really. Like I like Jeremiah Smith is good. No, don't get me wrong, top receiver in the country, one of. He hasn't really done much with saying this year. I feel like this is a defense versus offense battle. Washington's offense is very electric. Uh, Damon Williams, solid quarterback. Denzel Boston, solid wide receiver. Jonah Coleman, I believe is his name. Running back, solid, very solid. Probably all three NFL guys in the future. We'll see how that translates. I know last year in this spot, Ohio State dropped the ball to Oregon, traveling as well. So we'll see if they bounce back on their win. We'll
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
go. My
I
fault.
like Ohio State minus 7.5. I don't know that Washington now with the departure of their head coach second year here is important in the Big Ten, but it's really going to be, I feel like Washington is just not at the level that Ohio State is this year, possibly looking to go back-to-back national championships.
Yeah, I feel you. I feel like that. I don't know if that Washington defense has been tested truly, and I feel like this Ohio State offense definitely has something to give to them. Honestly.
Yeah. So another big SEC matchup is number 4 LSU versus Ole Miss. Ole Miss minus 1.5. This is obviously a historic, great showdown between two SEC teams. As you know, ESPN's Lee Corso, who just retired recently, picked LSU to compete in the national championship game, and they're looking to live out his prediction.
Yeah, honestly, this game has a lot of stories. Last week I was talking about Austin Simmons, and apparently, hand up, I was wrong. Austin Simmons is not their quarterback, though he was starting for the first 2 weeks. He was hurt, and he wasn't playing up to standard. He hurt his ankle, but they got this new guy in Trinidad Chambliss, the two-time D2 winner at the national championship level, and he's been balling out. He hung up 40 on Tulane, and he was able to lead the Mississippi Rebels over Arkansas. So this is his first test against a real defense, in my opinion. I lean towards LSU just because I like this offense. This offense hasn't been able to get going yet, but they all, like the receivers they got, are all like can run a 4-3. they're called the Legion of Zoom is their nickname. Garrett Nussmeier was supposed to be this perennial guy. I feel like this is a statement game for him to get his name back in the conversation. And the LSU defense is something to talk about. Whit Weeks is a solid linebacker. I know he's had drama with Landry Kiffin going on, which is crazy to go out.
Yeah.
Definitely Lane Kiffin's daughter, bro. That's all I have to say. Mind games galore, but I'm going with the Tigers here in this spot.
Yeah, I totally agree. Even though I can't stand Brian Kelly after he left Notre Dame for LSU. So I root against him all the time, openly and unabashedly. So, yes, the Tigers are probably going to be in the SEC championship at minimum, possibly college football playoff contention. The Tigers is just going to be too much for Ole Miss. But who knows? They could prove us wrong.
Yeah, I just feel like the defenses like that Trinidad's faced so far is Arkansas, who's lackluster, and Tulane, who's a Group of Five school. So this is his first real welcome to the SEC moment, and we'll see how he responds. But I'm with the Tigers on this one.
Yeah. And so then another SEC matchup we're going to talk about here is Auburn at Texas A&M. Texas A&M minus 6.5. The over 51.5. This game's obviously College Station where the Aggies look to keep their undefeated record alive, competing for a national championship. Auburn comes in with a close loss to Oklahoma last week, which we both agreed was going to happen. At 3-1, and they look to prove that they can compete again with the tough competition here in the SEC.
Yeah, they got an "I'm sorry we missed the call" by the SEC last week, so major red flag there for Oklahoma. I feel like Oklahoma narrowly skated by with that W, and the Mateer's hurt now, so who knows their season. I mean, I think they got a bye week and then an easy game, so maybe, and Mateer's only supposed to be out for 3 weeks, so they'll be good probably. But this Auburn team definitely has a strong defense. Jackson Arnold just doesn't. As long as he doesn't play terrible, they should win this game because the A&M defense is not very good. Jackson Arnold does have a problem with holding the ball a little too long for his liking, but I feel like this Auburn offense going out there after getting a response like a "I'm sorry we missed the call" from the NCAA, like what do you want them to do with that? Right, put it on their fridge or something, hang it up, and like, "I'm sorry we missed it." Like they gotta go get their win back. I don't like Hugh Freeze, but this Auburn team's got it. I think they win this game.
Yeah, I think when we talk about Texas A&M, they beat Notre Dame, obviously, and I feel like at any point, whether it was Notre Dame or Texas A&M, their continual ranking wherever they were is always going to be on the ledge or on the verge of falling off into the abyss and never to be seen again. But I feel like Texas A&M may be able to pull this one out. We'll see what happens. 6.5 is a big number, but straight up, Texas A&M should cover. I believe should win this game.
I feel you.
The last big game in the SEC of the night is against two previously perennial powers in the SEC. Both programs national championships after national championship, and not only that, just competing in the national championship as well. Alabama at Georgia, between the two teams, 17 ranked. Alabama and number 5, Georgia. Georgia minus 2.5. Georgia could win a narrow game, very just typical of extremely good SEC football. Given their home field advantage, they have a strong run defense, and they are the slight favorites. But as usual, it's going to be a close game. This could be, one of those things where, Alabama, pushes forward up into the SEC rankings and into the national rankings as well. But Georgia's got everything in their hands. The ball's in their court.
Yeah, this is Alabama for real game because their last couple of games they haven't really played nobody. They beat Wisconsin, which is a really bad Wisconsin team. They beat up on U of LM, which like a Group of 5 school. So this is their first real test back. are they back or not is the question. I'm gonna say no, even though listen, they're like what 9-1 in their last 10 meetings between Georgia, but their one loss was last year when they don't have Saban. I feel like Saban was the X factor. I don't think DeVore is a SEC guy. I feel like Kirby Smart's just a better coach. And Gunnar Stockton was the reason why they beat Tennessee. He put that team on his back. I feel like Tennessee's number, they're like what 15. I feel like they're a top 10 team, but
Yeah, they're
Gunnar
15
Stockton.
right now. That's correct. Yep.
Yeah. I feel like they're a top 10 team, maybe pushing top 5, but the way that Gunnar Stockton was able to put the team on his back and show that they're ready to play, I feel like that was a prove it moment for him. He's definitely one of the people to watch out for in the Heisman race if he has a big game today. Um, with Mateer falling off and then going to be out for 3 weeks, it kind of lowers his stock a little bit. So I like the Georgia Bulldogs in this spot. I feel like I just don't believe in DeVore, man. I just don't.
Yeah, I feel the same. I don't know that DeBoer is an SEC coach.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a lot of colleges he could be good at, a lot of conferences he could compete really, really high at. I just don't see how the Washington defensive plans, translating into the SEC. And if you are in the SEC, you can get behind pretty quickly if you're not, defensively sound. So I feel like, there's no doubt Georgia's going to win this game. I feel like they're going to cover, even though this is an old slobber knocker type game between two ranked opponents, two historic programs.
Yeah, I feel you. You gotta be a special type of crazy to coach in the SEC, and I just don't think he has.
Yeah, to want that kind of competition. I mean, you literally are live and die the whole entire year once the SEC, once the SEC schedule starts to build up. So the big game of the week is in the Big Ten. Big Ten, been obviously very, very maligned over the years with how soft their teams are against SEC opponents. Yet we've seen a lot of success with the Big Ten and the SEC in bowl games. So this game here, Oregon, number 6 at Penn State, number 3. It's Penn State's favored by 3.5, which pretty much means it's almost even, given the line. This is a whiteout game for the Nittany Lion fans. So, in Happy Valley, they're going to be, screaming their heads off. Penn State's got to slow down this Oregon offense and be efficient on their own offensive side. The matchup could determine who plays in the Big Ten title game and a shot at the national championship. And I think that Oregon with Noah Whittington is going to quiet the crowd. Last year's game was a thriller, 45-37, and the Ducks pulled that one out.
Yeah, I like this Ducks team. DeCarrion Moore is a solid receiver, freshman stud, wide receiver, going crazy. Dante Moore also doing good work as a quarterback, low key, long shot Heisman if he proves it today. Maybe you get good value. Sadiq, their tight ends also really cool. They got 7 running backs that they use consistently, always having fresh legs. This offense is something else. My worry is their defense because in last year in this spot, Penn State's their 2 running backs, Singleton and I forgot the name of the other guy, but they both ran for over 100 yards. So hopefully they can contain. If they can contain them, I feel like the Oregon Ducks should win this easily. James Franklin's a perennial choker, and I feel like he's playing with all the pressure in the world here. Oregon's playing with house money on the road traveling, and it feels like if Oregon loses, it's no big deal to me, honestly, because I feel like both of these teams are going to make it at the playoff regardless because they're the top of the Big Ten, in my opinion. But I feel like if James Franklin doesn't win this game, the narrative's still going to be there haunting him over and over. And it's just the pressure of that. It's got to get to the man eventually. And I feel like Dan Lanning and this Oregon offense is playing with nothing but house money. I feel like they come in, they take it pretty easily.
Yeah, I don't believe in James Franklin one little bit. I know that last year, Notre Dame went in and won the game, in the college football playoff game for the national championship. And this year, coming into the year, he kind of threw out there that, it's got to be that everybody plays the same amount of conference games. Notre Dame had an advantage is what he's saying. Listen, you got to coach your butt off here if you want to compete for a national championship. I don't know what to tell you. So all you Penn State fans can stop whining about we didn't play 12 games or whatever it is James Franklin was talking about. You come play football. You come to play or you don't, and your guy doesn't get it done, and that's the bottom line. I'm sorry. That's the harsh reality you have to live with. And you play second fiddle to teams like Oregon and Ohio State in this conference. So anyway, moving on. Going to get off my soapbox there about Penn State. Other games we're looking at, some Big Ten game as well. Indiana at Iowa. The Hawkeyes are at home. They are the dog here. But these games are always, especially at Iowa, seem to be, very, very closely matched and contested.
Yeah, I mean if you look at this Iowa offense, if you from left tackle to right guard, they have the number one ranked lineman in each position, and their right tackle is the number two ranked. So they have the top line in college football. I don't know, their success hasn't been good for them. I don't know what's going on with their offense. They just keep on getting swallowed up, it seems. But and the line here after Indiana's blowout win suggests that it's always close with these two teams. Mendoza playing out of his mind. You saw how crazy he went against the Illinois team last week. I can't pick against Indiana in this spot, even though I do think this is a sleepy game they might get caught in. This might be a trap game.
It could be absolutely a trap game for the Hoosiers here. I typically take Iowa because they just always play tough. Even if it's the number one ranked Ohio State Buckeyes, they're going to play them tough, for most of the game. A team like Ohio State might open it up at the end here, but I don't feel like that's the case with Indiana. So I was going to take Iowa and the points.
All right. I can't blame you.
Yeah. Next matchup we have is who we talked about a little bit earlier, Josh Heupel in Tennessee, traveling to Mississippi State. The Bulldogs are not exactly, in glory land at this point. This could be a team that, gives themselves a shot at getting up in the top 25 with a victory against a top-ranked team.
Yeah, and this is closer than what some people suspect, honestly. Mississippi State has two top 10 corners in Kelly Johns and Burnfield, I think his name is Diago. He's no other team has that, and it'll be interesting to see how their secondary matches up with Tennessee's killer offense. Because Josh Heupel runs that easy quarterback friendly set. Joey Aguilar is currently ranked the third best quarterback of stat wise in the SEC. So we'll see. This is a true test. Arian Carter, the linebacker for Tennessee, is currently ranked the number one. So two strong defenses. We'll see how this game shapes out. I lean towards Tennessee in this spot just because this feels like a spot where, Mississippi State got one of the biggest wins they've had in their school history in recent time over beating Arizona State last week, I believe. So we'll see how this pans out for them. I don't know, man. The points, the 7.5 is a lot, but I feel like this is normally a spot where Mississippi State chokes and we see Tennessee come out. So I'm going with the Vols.
Yeah, I agree. I think the Vols are going to just be too much for Mississippi State. Next one we got is a Big 12 matchup. And I really love this coach, not because I'm a 49er fan and obviously Brock Purdy leads my team, but Matt Campbell at Iowa State at Arizona. I feel like this is another matchup where it seems like it shouldn't really matter. But for Campbell and the Cyclones, it's going to be very, very important to keep that success rolling.
Yeah, and this Iowa State team's currently, I think they're top ranked in the Big 12. They haven't lost a game, so they're fighting to defend their spot. Rocco Beck, their quarterback, I like him. He's a solid guy. I feel like Arizona hasn't really played. I mean, they played Hawaii. They beat up on Hawaii. They barely were able to edge out Kansas State. I'm just not a big fan of Fafita. I just lean Iowa State in this spot covering. I feel like the Cyclones pull this one out.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Just too much. Arizona has been very, very vanilla,
Yeah,
in their last few years here in the Big 12 with the split now coming and the Pac-12 closing down. We haven't seen Arizona really do anything in the Big 12.
yeah. They're a basketball school, man.
They certainly are. They certainly are. So then we got some dogs of the week, some teams that we like that are, possibly not anywhere on anyone's radar as far as college football's biggest games of the week, but certainly matter if you're looking to cash in here. And the first matchup is UCF, Central Florida, versus Kansas State.
Yeah, man. Like this, everyone's down on UCF for some reason. They're saying they're the worst of the Big 12, but I think it's Kansas State. Scott Frost is a good coach, in my opinion. I feel like they just came off and thumped the Fighting Jordans of UNC. So I feel like this is the only thing that Kansas State has done this year newsworthy was that Ireland game where Avery Johnson's brother fought his dad on the sideline. So I feel like
Yes.
UCF is. I don't know why they're dogs, but I'm taking that's free money to me. That's like
I totally agree. We both loved UCF last week against the Tar Heels. That Tar Heels program is just a name right now behind Bill Belichick, and that name is fading quickly. And so I love Scott Frost as well. He was great at Nebraska, went to UCF, and I feel like there's no way. I feel like they win the game straight up. They're a plus 6.5, but I feel like they beat Kansas State straight up. So
yeah, it's very.
that's
possible.
just me, But you put your money where it is. But I agree with you. Free money is my money, so I'll take it. Next game we got is Louisville versus Pitt. Pitt plus 4.5 here.
Yeah, people are down on this Pitt team after they lost to West Virginia. That was a rivalry game, the backyard brawl. That's the only thing. That's really the only game West Virginia gets up for. I mean, if you look at West Virginia the rest of the year, they're not favored in another game. I like this Pitt team. Eli Holstein, top rated quarterback among the ACC. I feel like they come out and they defend the home turf here. Just because, like, I don't know. They were good last year up until the point where Eli Holstein got hurt. I feel like Eli Holstein's a solid quarterback, and I feel like they come up with a dub. I don't know. They can still have a good spot in the ACC.
Oh yeah, I like Pitt as well. They're a tough team. I don't feel like Louisville has taken any leaps to impress anyone this year. And so Pittsburgh's always been tough, and they're at home, right? Aren't they at home?
Yeah.
So Pittsburgh at home, it means they're a 1.5 point favorite if you're looking at lines. Just so everybody knows, the home team gets 3 or gives 3, I should say, unless it's a really terrible matchup, unbalanced. So this shows you that it's balanced there. It's 4.5. So I like Pitt in this matchup as well. And the last game we got for dog of the week is California versus BC. BC, Bill O'Brien, the head coach, minus 6.5. I love Bill O'Brien. I think he was a great coach at Penn State. I thought he was great when he was OC at Alabama. He's got a really, really good way with getting the most out of guys in the places that he's been.
Yeah, I agree with you. He's also good for the Texans until he took the general manager role, but then he tore that place down. But
he added massage parlors, and that was the end.
Yeah. I like this Cal Bears team though. I like I said, Jaren Kiwe Sangapulatele. Name that's going to be hard for people to pronounce, but name that people should recognize in the future. This
Was
is
that
the
all the alphabetical letters, or?
yeah. Listen, man, this is the next great Hawaiian quarterback. We got another one. He's out in at Cal. I like him. He's a lefty gunslinger. Dylan Lonergan from BC is no slouch either. I feel like this is an underrated quarterback matchup going on during the madness of this college slate. I feel like if you want to watch some good quarterback play, this game is good to watch. I like this Cal Bears team, so I'm taking the 6.5. And yeah, that's really all I got, honestly.
As we said, these SEC matchups are going to really determine pass and forge programs forward into the national conversation. Obviously, the Big Ten team matchup between Oregon and Penn State is going to have national championship implications. Jimmy, any other games that you just want to have everybody get eyes on?
I think we covered for the most of them that off the top of my head. I don't have the list in front of me, so I feel like we got a good slate. Um, yeah, man. I'm just excited to watch some football.
Just a shout out to I coach high school football. One of my players is going to attend the Syracuse Duke game today. He's getting recruited by Syracuse.
That's a sneaky matchup too.
Sneaky matchup, right? ACC battle. Fran Brown, guy from New Jersey as well. Camden, New Jersey. He's been around the college ranks. Been at Georgia. I like the Cuse today. I don't even know what I think their line is.
I think they're
the favorites.
No, I think they're.
Oh no, they're the dog. I'm sorry, they're the dog. Minus 4.5. I like the Cuse. Obviously, coming off that big victory last week.
Yeah.
I know it sounds like it could be one of those games that you emotional high and then it's a letdown game, but I really like Syracuse again playing at home in the Carrier Dome. And another game I like that we don't talk about often is the directional Michigan matchup. So we got today we got Eastern Michigan at Central Michigan. Central Michigan's the favorite at 3.5. This is always a tight contested game. I like the Chippewas here minus the 3.5. And the last game that nobody will ever talk about is UConn and Buffalo. UConn is minus 3.5. I like UConn in this game at Buffalo. Their over-under is 51.5. I think it is going to go under. So those are my parting shots here. As always, for me, go Irish. Congratulations to Jimmy on the Wahoos taking out Florida State. Look forward to seeing you guys next week in week 6, where we see some more exciting matchups. Thanks to the Not Move Podcast College Football Playoff, also a college football podcast. Also, thank you to BetUS, one of our sponsors. You can get all your sports betting needs there. Any last words, Jim?
Nah, man. Let's just go watch some football. Have a good day. A lot of good games.
Absolutely. Enjoy the college football slate this week. We'll see you next week. Have a great weekend.
This non-casual podcast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or reused without the authorized written consent of the Not Move Podcast Network. Thank you, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.